I know many women who got pregnant, some of my good friends today, and their kids are, 9 or 10 years old. And they tell me they were scared and unsure. And the doctor said abortion's always an option and they didn't know what to do. I have one friend who was told you are not medically capable of doing this and it could cause you could die. And
Whoa.
ask them now, would you have preferred to have gotten an abortion? And they say, how dare you? Because they have a kid who's 9 years old. Are you nuts? They love their kids.
Yeah, no mother ever has the regret that she had a baby. I've never met one, at least. Maybe there's one out there, but conversely, you ask people who've had an abortion and you have a lifetime of regret that you can't make it better.
This is what Trump did really well in that town hall. And boy, did they freak out. I think this is one of the reasons they probably cut it short. Trump said, Caitlin Collins asks him, if you were president, would you sign a ban on abortion? And he said, well, it depends on what the deal is. Some say 6 weeks, some say 8 weeks. I thought he'd give a brilliant answer. And he said, we've got negotiating power now on this, but it's not the right that's radical. It's the left. The Democrats, they want abortion up to 9 months. They says the woman could be about to give birth and they say you could kill the baby. Why would you do that?
Yeah.
He's completely right.
That was my argument, by the way, in when I was running. And people were just constantly, the media was like, where do you stand on abortion? Yeah, I'm a pro-life, okay? I want to save as many babies as I can. I've held my own children in my arms and I know it's a beautiful gift from God. Let's try to help people. Like I said, let's try to help women who are finding themselves in that position where they go, I can't do this. How can we help? Save as many babies as possible. And it should be up to the state to decide. I believe that. And but what we should do is try to support women so that when they're faced with a pregnancy, they can make a good choice that they're going to be able to live with the rest of their life.
We had a leftist on the show about just over a week ago. His name is Lance from the Surfs. So I appreciate him coming on the show.
I love it. You can talk to anyone.
Well, leftists typically don't like coming on and talking because they end up looking bad. And I think he did end up looking bad. But I respect that he was brave enough and sure of himself enough to actually come and talk. But something really interesting happened that resulted in a viral moment for us where he said, I ask many of these leftists, should a woman be legally allowed to abort a baby, ending its life at 8.5 months? They say yes. Now, typically what they'll do is they'll give some wishy-washy answer.
Just right out said yes.
So that's the thing. They don't outright say yes, but then eventually they do. And I have to do some prying. And I say, do women have a right to get an abortion at any time? They say yes. I'm like, so you're saying they are a day from giving birth to a healthy baby. The baby can survive right now on its own. You think because it's in the woman, the doctor can kill it. The woman can, well, it's her body. She can do it. Tell me yes or no. And then they finally will say yes. And then my question is, what's the difference between a baby that's gestated 9 months in the womb and out of the womb? The hypothetical. Two women conceive at the exact same time and their babies have gestated the exact same amount of time. One woman gives birth 10 minutes early. The other woman says, abort the baby. You think that baby could be aborted? Say, yes, it's the woman's choice. And I just say, why kill the baby?
What choice does the baby have in that? I mean, it's just a different location. The baby happens to be in the
womb
versus it could survive outside the womb.
And I don't consider myself to be pro-life. I'm traditionally Democrat pro-choice, but they've never given me a reason why they think it's acceptable to end the life of the baby if it could survive on its own. And Unity says, you're in favor of forced birth. I said, define birth. And he goes, huh? I'm like, what is it? The baby's there. It has to come out. Why kill it? They have no answer.
Yeah.
I genuinely think they just want less people.
Well, I mean, we could go into a lot of these cultural things, and it shouldn't even be cultural. It's just like common sense stuff. I mean, we talked about children being talked into sex changes, and I think we've gotten so polarized politically that the left is like, I will double down. I'm going to double down. I don't want to be wrong on it, no matter how crazy things get. Where they go, okay, the child's gender confused. Should they be allowed to, use this bathroom or that? Yes, absolutely. Whatever they say. Then now it's getting to the point where they're having surgery The children are having surgery. The 14-year-old girl or 15-year-old girl is having her breast removed, having a hysterectomy. And they double down. Yes, absolutely.
Rare as it is.
They don't want to be wrong. And it's like, where do we draw the line here? We're talking about people's lives right now.
We pulled this up during a debate on the show with another liberal lefty guy. And he's like, how many girls are people are getting surgery? They say, no, minors aren't getting surgery. Kim Petras in Germany. I know Germany's not the United States. 16 years old, biological male, sex change surgery. Jazz Jennings in Florida. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if the initial surgery Jazz got was in Florida, but Jazz has received gender alteration surgery, because this is like the third one. I don't know what you'd call it, but gender modification or genital modification surgery in Florida. And this is in the United States. Jazz Jennings initially got the operation at 17 as a minor. But we bring this up, and it's a couple thousand teenage girls in the United States over the past 4 years have received double mastectomies. It is in the I think it's about 2,000 to 3,000. And the response from the left is, oh, well, that's not that much. And I'm like, one is too much. Are you kidding?
In an American hospital or clinic, this is crazy. Well, and it is happening, and there's big business and there's big money behind it. And you see the advertising. I've seen it at hospitals in Arizona advertising for whatever they call it, gender reaffirming surgery. They're advertising it. And we saw an ad not that long ago, we posted about it, where they're talking now with toddler age. Your toddler can have gender, I don't know what their term is, confusion. They can be transgender from a very young age. They're trying to get parents to start pushing this on their kids at a very young age when they're 3 and 4 years old. What happens is, and I've talked about this many times before, our children's minds are malleable. There's a reason that our beautiful little 5 and 6 and 7-year-olds get real excited around Christmas time about somebody coming down the chimney. And it's a really fun, beautiful thing. That shows you how malleable our children's minds are.
There's a rabbit leaving candy for you hidden around the house.
It's exciting. It's wonderful. And I think that's fabulous. I don't want to ever change that. The beautiful imagination of our kids. Then you send them into school, and they have somebody who they trust, the teacher or somebody at school, a counselor. They're having a bad day. They're afraid. They're psychologically struggling, or they're seeing that they're talking about all this gender stuff, and they're like, well, look, if you change genders, if you want to be a different gender, you get more attention. Kids want attention.
Yep.
How do you get ahead in this world right now? Meritocracy is dead. It doesn't matter if you're a great scientist, mathematician, if you're a great athlete. That's not enough anymore. It's not enough to be good at what you do. You have to do something like change your gender to get ahead or get noticed in this world.
We have a story where one of the people who work here and a prominent personality said that when she was living in a liberal area, her daughter likes playing sports, plays football. So without telling her, they went to the daughter and said, you're a lesbian and you're a boy. And so this young girl who's like, I think she's 10 or so, comes home and says this to her mom. And then the mother says, do you know what that means? She's like, I don't know. That's what they said I was. Okay, we're leaving the school. We're getting out of here.
Good.
Yeah.
She may have saved her daughter's life.
Absolutely. And this is why I tell people, get out of cities.
Mm-hmm.
And there are a lot of people who don't want to do it.
Watch that. They're going to be moving around here.
Yeah, but it's good. If somebody lives in California and they're of moderate politics, they don't want kids getting sex changes. They think abortion. I am traditionally liberal on the abortion issue, which is it used to be safe, legal, rare. There were rare circumstances where bad things were happening, and we leave it up to the mother and the doctor to come to the right conclusion. Now it's either you're on the right. I have conservatives who are pro-life telling me, well, let's talk about that, Tim. Maybe like Trump said, some people say 6 weeks, some people say 8 weeks. Why is Donald Trump coming to me and offering me a negotiation and a compromise where we can find a place to live together? And the left is saying abortion at any point for any reason, right? Yeah. There's an extreme side, and then there's the let's be reasonable people side.
It's interesting that he threw that out there, and something reasonable, or that what the general population would say is reasonable. And
the left says no.
They're going, no, we have to have it until 9 months moment of birth.
That's crazy.
It's really revealing and everything we need to know.
They claimed who was lying. They said it was fact check false. Kathy Tran in Virginia proposed a bill that would allow abortion up to the point of birth. But my point was,
they call it partial birth abortion. The baby oftentimes can come out alive.
And then they kill it in the process. And then the left says it never happens. But I'm like, if it happens one time, it's too many. And it does. But so if people who hold any kind of views in terms of reasonability or being reasonable, if they move from a blue state to Georgia, Ohio, or Wisconsin, they would turn those states red. We don't want Democrats, in California complaining about crime, moving to Florida and turning it blue. But what we're seeing is Florida has just become reliably red, which means come 2024, we don't got to worry about it. It's going to vote. It's going to go Trump. But Georgia, Wisconsin, and Ohio are pivotal swing states. If you live in New York or California, your vote's not going to do anything in terms of winning this culture war. And you're putting yourself and your family at risk with the increasing crime, violence.
Paying a fortune in taxes. And what do you get for those taxes? Not a damn thing. That's what makes me mad. We pay so high taxes. Think of California, New York, D.C., and you can't even walk down the street safely?